Salute ATP. It's your boy Rain. It's that ATP Combat Media Show popping up with another recording. It's been a while since I've done this with you guys. You know, we've been busy doing the lives, as you can tell. I'm in my own little corner right now as I'm rebuilding the studio. But wanted to go ahead and tap in on this conversation. We just came off a great event this past weekend. Terrence Crawford, Israel Madrimov with a performance on one of the biggest, best cards that we've seen in the longest time in America. Maybe one of the biggest card that's ever been put together. But I digress. Just getting back to the conversation. Now that we have Terrence Crawford in the conversation right now as a WBA full champion and WBO interim champion, looks like he's going to be getting that belt elevated to a real championship belt if he's not fighting Sebastian Fundora. And Fundora does take that fight with Errol Spence, which rumor is that's what's going to happen. Then, you know, the WBO's already made it clear they're going to strip him of that belt and give it to Terrence Crawford, so he'll be a full champion. What does that mean for 154 right now to have Terrence Crawford in the conversation right now as a champion, looking to potentially unify, well, not potentially, look like he wants to unify, head into the direction of an undisputed title, you know, aspirations to become an undisputed 154 title holder. What does the division look like at this point, taking all that into consideration? Well, the division is just getting stacked with more and more talent, right? When you look at the broad spectrum, you see Errol Spence potentially supposedly getting ready to fight Sebastian Fundora. That adds another layer to the powder cake that's about to explode. You have Jamel Charlo talking about coming out of his little hiatus and becoming active in the division now. You also have TURKI ALALSHIKH involved in the division now, being that he's backing Terrence Crawford. So there's money in the division. Terrence Crawford's become a payday for all these fighters to get involved in trying to make a fight with him. You also have on the other side, you have Virgil Ortiz trying to make a move right now as he's getting ready to fight next week with Sergey Bohachuk to put himself in title contention as an interim WBC title holder if he can do that. But as well, from what I understand, if you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that the winner of that fight does get to be a mandatory to fight against Terrence Crawford as well, who was the winner of the fight with Israel Madrimov. Now, add to that to say that the WBC does have Terrence Crawford as also a WBC welterweight champion in recess. And what they've done is they've made him a mandatory to the winner in between Sebastian Fundora and Errol Spence as well, being that they'll actually be fighting for the actual WBC title. I'm sure it's a lot that I've given you right now, but just trying to give you an idea how real spicy the division has gotten, right? Now, also what came out in the news in the 154-pound weight class division is that Tim Tszyu's in negotiations right now with Bakram Murateliev. Excuse me if I said your name wrong, sir. Much respect. Respectfully speaking, this will be for the IBF title that Bakram is holding, right? So it puts Tim Tszyu in a position, if he wins that fight, now he gets in the title contention conversation. As you can tell, the division is going crazy, you know, and it looks like everybody's aiming at the same thing. They want unifications, they want undisputed titles. TURKI ALALSHIKH now involved in that division via Terrence Crawford just makes a lot of things come together and make a lot of things possible. Now here comes the missing piece that I feel like makes the biggest difference right now in that division. Jaron Boots Ennis, who's sitting at 147 pounds right now as an IBF champion down there, and he's looking to unify down there as well to become an undisputed champion. But listen, let's be honest, 147 doesn't seem to be offering big paydays or a lot of easy deals to be made, being that Jaron's been down there long enough trying to make these fights. And let's be honest, these fighters don't want to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. But keep in mind, of course, TURKI being involved in the conversation does put some perspective on it as well. Because now Jaron Boots Ennis, in a way, becomes a big payday for all those fighters down there at 147. So I do expect the fights to be a little bit easier to be made. But at the same time, looking at the way 154 is panning out, it'd be great to see Jaron Boots Ennis in that conversation to fight any of those guys, right? To see Jaron Boots Ennis potentially fight a Virgil Ortiz or Tim Tszyu or even a Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence or any of these, even an Israel Madrimov, who offered a lot of problems for Terrence Crawford. Very competitive fight. Probably a lot of people would say the best 154-pound fighter right now in that division, outside of obviously the guy who beat him. So to see Boots Ennis up there at 154 would be great. A lot of big money fights up there, a lot of opportunities for legacy up there. He can still chase undisputed statuses up there. And I think he would also be able to make a name for himself amongst fighters that kind of he missed out on fighting them to a degree just because of the era issue, right? Like Boots is kind of borderline the new guys coming in, but right there when the old guys were leaving the division. So if he were to go up there to 154, it would actually put him in a great position to be able to get a lot of those fights that he missed out on. Virgil Ortiz, he definitely missed out on. Terrence Crawford, he definitely missed out on. And Errol Spence, he definitely missed out on. Now, you add Jermell Charlo into the fold, there's a lot of opportunities up there for him. But either way, 154 looking stacked. The talent up there is crazy. I was just playing with the numbers a little bit earlier today just to realize I think I counted out like 111 different combination of fights that could be made. At 154 right now, it's going to be harder to put a cherry pick in there with a top contender rather than just putting top contenders in front of each other, right? I mean, if I could just go from Brian Mendoza to Erickson Lubinson to Jesus Ramos to Serhii Bahacek to Tim Tszyu to Errol Spence, I can keep going, right? Terrence Crawford, Jermell Charlo, Sebastian Fundora. I can just go all over the place. There's talent everywhere. Now Israel Madrimov, although he's a relatively new professional fighter, being he only has 12 fights under his belt, he brings a 350 plus amateur boxing career. So the experience is there. The performance he just had with Terrence Crawford just puts him in the conversation as one of the top guys in the division. The division is stacked, and it's like a powder keg is about to explode. You can see it coming. I can see Undisputed jumping into the conversation inside the next 2 years. I can see there being a big Undisputed fight. Who are going to be the two fighters involved in it? You wouldn't be crazy if you would put Terrence Crawford in there, being that he is pound for pound the best fighter in the world. But who would be his dancing partner? It could be anybody, maybe even a Duran Boots Ennis, right? If he were to jump in the division, get in this conversation, start knocking down fighters around Terrence Crawford. And like I said earlier, if you watch my lives, get in the way, right? You guys want to see Boots Ennis and Terrence Crawford fight. Well, this is the best way for it to happen. Get Boots up to 154 pounds, get him in some title contention up there, let him secure one of those titles, get in that conversation, get in the way of Terrence Crawford, and we can see a huge fight. If the matches are made in the correct way, we can see Duran Boots Ennis, Terrence Crawford, end of 2025, beginning of 2026, fighting for an undisputed title and giving the fans what ultimately they want, which is the big fight between Duran Boots Ennis and Terrence Crawford. But you guys let me know what you think about the 154 weight class division right now. How do you see it panning out? I see great things happening. Like I treaded very lightly on Virgil Ortiz. We are going to watch him fight this weekend. It's going to be his first actual fight at 154 pounds. He's been doing like this catch weight thing. We all know the story about how he, kind of had like a sickness from cutting weight too much and was forced basically to go up to 154. So it'll be interesting to see him fight. He's going to be fighting against Serhii Bahacek, who's a current interim champion. He just recently had a fight with Brian Mendoza and beat him. So he's been active. Virgil Ortiz only has had 2 rounds in the past, 2 years. He's had 2 rounds of fights, meaning that he's been putting the fighters away very early. Hasn't had a real opportunity since he's come back from his little sick hiatus to develop and get those rounds in to just kind of get better. But listen, he has a great team behind him, and Robert Garcia as his trainer, as his father holding him down as well. He has a great team working around him, and I expect great things from him. Let's see how that fight turns out this weekend, as once we find out who the winner of that is, we might potentially be looking at who the next fight for Terrence Crawford is, which TURKI ALALSHIKH communicated at the event this weekend that if Canelo wasn't going to pull the trigger, and TURKI put out the message today that they're no longer pursuing the Canelo fight, that Virgil Ortiz would ideally be the next fight for Terrence Crawford. Right? A lot of information, but you guys let me know what you think. All right, put it in the chat, comment, like, share, subscribe, all the above. 154-pound weight class division on fire. Look like it's going to catch more fire. It'd be great to see somebody like Boots Ennis step in the division, but even with the fighters we have right now that we're looking out at 154, can't help but just be excited about what the future of this division look like. Let me know what you think. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Clay. Remember to hit your bell icon so you get all your notifications when all these videos are dropping. But at this point, you know what it is. We out.